And good Monday morning, everybody. Welcome. This is LoreForged, the podcast for Ashes of Creation. This is episode 73. I'm joined by, my name's Jibs, and I'm joined by Sunny Raven Court.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, there it is. Yep.
I don't even, I got nothing going on. I got nothing.
I feel like you're struggling. Man, like you just,
when you're by yourself, like me, I don't do well like this. I did 2 years working overnight by myself, not always overnight, but I'd rotate between days and nights as a death investigator, just me and the corpses, all by myself. It is not how I am wired to be.
That'd be an awesome book. Me and my corpses.
Just me and the corpses. You do a lot of weird thinking. I almost got into painting. I mean, it was like just nonsense.
Yeah.
Way
to go, Bob Ross.
So I've been by myself now for like 8 hours, and I've got cabin fever.
You're dying on the inside.
Yeah. Talking to the dog. It's all weird.
Oh, that's awesome. And Cash is here.
I see things a little differently. Like I love my wife and daughter. I love my wife and daughter more than anything in this planet and beyond. But when they're both gone, bro,
party time.
That's me time. I pour myself a 9 a.m. whiskey, fat, like twice as much of this neat.
Oh,
and I just do things. Not work, not honey-do lists. I do a lot of gaming.
Heck yeah.
That's where we land.
And then about 4:30 comes around. They're going to be pulling in anytime. And you're like, man, where'd my day go? Oh.
Yep. Did you just call me a dago?
Oh.
No.
Look, I'm Italian.
Oh, I did not do that. I did not do that thing.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
And Sunny's broken. All right, folks.
I can't even pull that back. I wish I could pull that one back.
You can't pull anything back that comes out of my mouth, dude.
Can't. No. Jeez, come on. You're better than that one.
You have to be. I am one. I can say it.
Oh yeah, these are my people jokes, right?
These are you have to be the most boring fire station conversation ever. Everybody rides the fringes in a firehouse, except for Sunny.
How do you handle that? Do you just like go quiet? Like,
I could just see Sunny sitting at the table.
I'll tell you something. So, in our firehouse, there's an expression that every firefighter is just the reincarnation of a firefighter that has left, right? Like, oh, you're the new, Phil, who was a super workout dude and just retired, and now you're the new super workout dude. You're just a reincarnation of somebody who's left. And then when I joined in, my lieutenant, who is now my captain, he looks at me and he goes, "Yeah, I don't think we've ever had anybody like you." That seems fair.
Nobody's ever had a friend like you. Nobody's ever had a guild leader like you. You are one of a kind, my friend, and we love you for it.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, look, it's Dusty.
Hey, Dusty's back in. Dusty, welcome.
This is what, talk about returning the favor. I rated Dusty earlier today with just the few people, the 15 or so, 20 people that were watching me this afternoon. And Dusty said he had been streaming for like 570 some days straight. And he came from New World and is now in Ashes of Creation. And he was saying like, woof, New World, that's rough. Ashes got it dialed in. And meanwhile, we're over here like, Ashes needs to fix this and this and this and this and this. And I'm struggling with all these 9 things here. And Dusty's like, bro. Really?
Dusty, first of all, thank you for coming in. Thanks for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. We know the pain with New World. We were certainly there. And I want to give you a LoreForged happy hoots. Welcome
happy
in.
hoots.
And welcome to the community.
Welcome to the community.
Yeah, welcome community. I don't have anything to cheers. I have an empty protein bottle, protein shake. Welcome in, Dusty.
Ew, are you on a liquid diet?
Urine sample
trying
cup.
Trying to protein up, yeah. Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you all push and play, hanging out with us here today. Again, this is episode 73. And this week on the show, we are talking about the bans that took place. So we were, as of last episode, on the eve of the bans that would happen. And we kind of discussed what they thought they'd be. Well, not even 24 hours later, the announcement went out. So now we're finally able to cover it, talk about it. And then we're doing a roundtable on something that... I was looking to see what you changed it to, Cash. That takes place in Ashes of Creation quite often, which is death. A whole lot of it. So tonight we're having a roundtable discussion in chat. We're leaning heavily on you. We want to see your opinions on this. On roundtable discussion. No kill zones in Ashes of Creation, a.k.a. any safe spaces. That's right, Cash. Yep, eat that up. Eat that
The
up.
world's not ready to keep going with these safe spaces. That's all I'm saying. So I changed the name to no kill zones. Okay.
I love it. So the bans, boys, and I know we kind of talked about this a little bit because we did the live at happy hour show for the patrons, but the ban hammer has been lifted, it has been swung, and has connected. Sunny Ravencourt, what do you think?
Oh boy, was I looking forward to this one. So the question of what kind of bans they were going to be and how many bans was a big thing. But I wanted to start very specifically with making sure that they didn't just try to sweep this under the rug. And that was my fear going into this, is that it seemed like we were getting kind of further and further away from it, that the sort of prevailing conversation was shifting away from the exploits and things like that. And so I wanted to make sure that this still happens, because in my opinion, this was a very important step for Intrepid to take. Intrepid had to assert that they are not going to tolerate this kind of behavior and that the punishments do exist. And we've talked about this at length, JB and I and you, Cash. Like, we were looking for a big hammer. We were looking for the biggest hammer. And in a small number of cases, we did get the biggest hammer. So there were, I'm just gonna go through the numbers here.
Yep.
19 accounts got the hammer. Okay. The full hammer. Say goodbye. Figure out a new email address.
Well, that's for
find
phase
a new
2.
PayPal. Get ready. Come back when you forge the new identity. That kind of hammer, right? That's what I like to call a $120 hammer. So then you have 16 accounts got a 5-day suspension for exploitative. Did they actually write exploitative?
Was I right? Oh my, me Googling now. Me go to Google Box.
Yes.
I called it exploitative last week and I got destroyed over it. Let's do this.
It's true. I saw it. I was like, oh no.
It is exploitative.
Exploitative is in fact a word. I am sorry. You were right. I was wrong.
I'm the best.
You're the best. I'm the worst. You're good looking. I'm not attractive. There you go. You get all of it, Cash. Exploitative. You called it. All right.
Oh my God. You're literally editing my book right now.
3 accounts got permanently banned for obscene naming violations, which is awesome. That 3 people were so obscene in just their name that they got hammered, but they also are racist. So that probably didn't help them. 37 accounts got issued account warnings for extreme harassment. 173 accounts received experience adjustments and inventory removals for first time exploiting, and 83 accounts received a full account wipe for their first time exploiting. So those last 2 I wanted to ask you about, Cash. Like, it seems to me that there were a couple things that happened here. 19 accounts got permanently banned for just being a-holes over and over. 3 of them got banned for being racist and whatnot. There was some warnings, but then these last 2 I wanted to ask you about. So 173 of them got adjustments. So probably money, experience, loot, whatever taken away. but then 83 of them got full account wipes. And both of those last two were for first-time offenders. So what do you think the difference was between those last two?
Maybe one was something that was exploitative in regards to leveling, and maybe the other was something more tied to economy and resources and gathering and crafting. That's my thought. Now, at the same time about me having that thought, I'm not gonna lie. Like we did a show over the weekend for our patrons, and in that show we talked about. By the time we got done talking about these bans, I was a little freaked out. I was a little freaked out about like, holy crap! Because these just came down the pipe. I need to log into my account. I freely admitted last week that I trained an entire dungeon of mobs into a group of a-holes, which it felt really good, you guys. Really, really good. Admittedly was not the right thing to do, but I did exploit. So we were freaked out. I was freaked out a little bit of like, dude, what if I was one of those? And I logged in and everything was fine. And I was like, oh my God, thank God. But you know, there's a high probability that something like that could have happened. Maybe it could have been something like that. They were just caught doing it. Because really, like when you think about mob training, is there really a way for them to look that up and see who is training mobs?
Oh,
I mean, it's a good question, right? Like, is there even a stratic for them to look at?
Not. No, JB, I mean, there's no way that they could track this, right?
No, you're relying on reports at that point, right? I mean, I speak as though I know their tools and systems, but I know they have the hot map that they can look at, but I don't know like how else would you track that? You know, so
it's too common.
Yeah.
Far too common. I have to make a retraction here. I spoke incorrectly. The first 19 that I said got the permanent ban, that is a permanent ban from Alpha 2 Phase 2.
Okay.
Alpha 2 Phase 2. Now, 3 people got a permanent ban from the whole thing, and that's out. So there was a permanent ban from Alpha 2 Phase 2. So I guess they can come back in May. Like, and the chat has it right here with Deviant. It's like, that's confusing wording. Like, what kind of permanent ban lasts until May? Right? I don't like the wording. But either way, it actually says permanently banned from the remainder of Alpha 2 Phase 2. So I guess they're not coming back for a while. So.
Yeah. You know, it was interesting to kind of see the reaction too, which admittedly, at least the first 24 hours was relatively silent, you know? And then I've seen it both ways. I've seen people say that they feel like this was nowhere near enough. They feel like there should have been more. They expected more. Other people were happy with what they saw. You know, so where do you guys...
Well, what do you think? I mean, I want to hear what you think. Do you think that this was sufficient? Do you think that this was not enough? Or what do you think about this?
So,
I mean, we covered this a little bit last week, so.
Yeah. So, to be completely honest, when I first read it, without really thinking about what I read, my first instinct was, that seems a little low. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, number one, I don't know any of the systems. I don't know how they were tracking anything. I don't know any of it. I don't know. And so, like, to me, I've walked away and it was just like, well, okay, cool. I mean, they were able to get this. I'm cool with that. I genuinely felt from a in-server experience that it was more than that. But, you know, like, again, I don't have those tools. I'm not tracking any of it. You know, if this is what it was and this is what it was. And so be it, you know. So that's kind of, I know that's a boring take, but really it's kind of like I'm kind of neutral on it.
I'm happy that we got something. I think that it could have been so much worse if we would have gotten nothing. So I'm going to take this as a win. I'm going to put this in the W category. and I'm going to say that this is a win because my fear was much worse. My fear was that they wouldn't do anything, and holy God, would that have been a bad decision in my mind.
Yeah.
But we did get something, and we did get some pretty heavy bans.
Yep.
For some people. Now, it wasn't what other people wanted. Like, people are like, I submitted my videos of these 6 individuals that are repeatedly killing people at an Ember Spring. Like, I don't understand how they could not have been banned, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. All right. Like, there could have been thousands of people banned for killing people at Ember Springs, as far as what I saw, right? Like, it would have been enormous. And the training mobs, if you were to ban people for dragging mobs into other people, we would have had a show with 2 of the 3 hosts on it for a while.
But they were all bad people that I trained.
So
they were terrible humans. They broke the law.
And that is okay. So that is another question. Terrible humans that broke the law. Okay.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't write hate mail. I'm just joking. They're normal humans that just play the game.
I wish you would have worked in the prosecutor's office that I worked at for a summer.
That'd have been fun.
You'd have to deal with the cops, and the cops are exactly like what you said. Like, they broke the law. It's like, yeah, no.
Dealt with plenty of cops. Plenty.
I know. So,
on the right side of the law, you guys. Jeez, don't draw conclusions.
Oh, come on. You've seen them on both sides. Anyways, so here's the thing, and this is something fun, actually, because I had a big conversation in the chat today. I was doing a stream this afternoon, and we had a very long conversation about the very first element of all of this, which is, what is an exploit, and do you think Intrepid has done a good job of explaining what that is? Cash?
I think it's a very wide term unless it is clearly defined by the entity that is presenting it to you. And in this case, the entity that is presenting it to us is Intrepid. They have been pretty clear on what is exploitative and what is not. If I was to define it, I would say taking advantage of the game in its current state and certain systems to gain personal advantage, and once discovered, not reported, and repeatedly offending that same action. It's kind of convoluted. There was a few semicolons in there, I think, but
JB,
for the most part, that's what I feel.
what do you think about this?
Can you ask me the question one more time?
What is an exploit?
You're really paying attention.
No, I am, but I
just exploit. And do you think Intrepid has done a good job of explaining it?
I mean, exploit's exactly what he just said, taking advantage of something that is not intended, I think, repeatedly. I think that to me is an exploit. I think that they have said it about as many ways as you possibly can say it. I think ultimately it comes back to human behavior, AKA be a good human, period. End of story. Like you could argue like what is exploitive is, and like I do feel genuinely that it's, some things are maybe more gray area than others, like taking advantage of a hyper spawn. Is that, you know what I mean? Like, and I will say, quote unquote, a hyper spawn for me that I've seen in Ashes is by the time I kill 4 mobs, maybe another 2 have spawned, from that same general vicinity. That to me feels like a hyper spawn just because it's faster, right? But to me as a gamer, like, I mean, other MMOs that I've been a part of, like that was almost like insider knowledge that the community, shared, and was kind of like a help for like, oh, hey, we can go over there because they spawn really fast here. So it's just like, is stuff like that an exploit? Like, where does that land? So it's just interesting conversation, and honestly, overall, passing it back to you, Cash, on this is that they could have been so much heavier, way more heavier handed if they wanted to be.
What? I need you to come back to me here first.
I meant Sonny, not you, Cash. You're not important. So, Sonny, like at the
noted.
All right, I'm just going to take this from you because here's the thing. So during the chat, I thought quite a bit about this and like the people in the stream, and I've broken it down into 3 elements of the crime. Okay, so this is like true lawyering right here. And Cash, you actually nailed all 3 in order. Like you hit Final Jeopardy on this one, dead nuts on. It is impressive. So the first one, just to clean up the language a little bit, the way that I described it was violating the spirit of the terms and conditions or EULA. Okay, so not even just the literal language, but the spirit of it. 2, for personal gain, right? 3, and the behavior is repeated, because you can actually have the first 2 and do it once and then go, that's just a bug, right? That's just a bug that worked out in your favor. And so you report it and you don't do it again, and you've missed the 3rd element of it. You can have the one where you have a bug and it doesn't do you any good and it hurts you. And so nobody's going to repeat that behavior, right? So that's the second element. The first one is the real trick, okay? And so in doing this, I'm going to pitch a new idea for the show for you 2 guys. I am going to get a barrister's wig and a robe, and I am going to be Judge Sunny that you can bring your claims to. So for an element of the show, if we want to do it every now and then, because we did this afternoon and it was amazing. You bring the claim of whether or not you think this behavior is an exploit or not, or whether or not somebody has wronged you or not, or something like that. You bring the claim to me, Judge Sunny, and I will make a decision on your behalf, just like the People's Court.
Oh my God. All we got to do for a live feed of content for this is go to our hostile action report.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, and I think some of them are also followed up with, please kill this a-hole if you find him.
Yes, it's always ending with that. Here's the name of the a-hole. Please murder him and all of his family, right? Like every time.
Dude. Yeah, if we acted on every single report in our hostile actions reports, we would have kill on sight for everyone on Vira.
Yeah.
For sure.
I had great questions though, right? Like the exploit. I was doing this the other day. Is this an exploit? I had a mob. I jumped over a fence. The mob had to run all the way around the fence. I kept shooting him. I jumped back over the fence. The mob had to run all the way around the fence. I killed the mob, right? Things like that. And then we had like the exploits, like the training mobs into other people. You had the super obvious ones. Nobody asks that because it's not worth it, right? Like I duplicated a bunch of stuff and got 1 million gold. Okay. That's an exploit.
Right.
Go back.
Next.
Here's the other thing that I discovered. You know what's required to do this, to discover whether or not something is an exploit, is a moral compass. It is required. Because if you don't have a moral compass, you will never fulfill the first element of it, which is against the spirit of the EULA. Because everything is possible in the game, right? If you're doing it, it's inherently possible. So the people that are like, well, Intrepid shouldn't have put that in the game. Yeah, we get it. It's in the game. Literally every exploit is something that's able to be done in the game. That's why it exists. So it's only the moral compass that changes it between something in the game and an exploit. And it was just a fascinating conversation.
I agree with you 100%. The moral compass is like, that is the problem with the world. Is that they're operating under, the world's EULA, and they still have no freaking moral compass. I mean, there's a lot of people that do, obviously, right? Not everybody's bad, but most people probably are. So there's that. Go ahead, James. I'm very judgy tonight.
I'm just gonna make this.
No, there's not tonight.
Sweeping
it's a daily
statement
basis.
about Earth, and then you go.
Yeah, paint everybody with a big brush.
I like what chat says. Sunny's raving court. I love it. That's hilarious. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
If you bring the cosplay, Sunny.
Who did that one? Proctees. That was Proctees.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah.
Sunny, if you bring the
Sunny's
cosplay
raving court
and bring a buzzer, like you are a professional buzzer. Yep. Just bring the first portion of that buzzer, man. We'll do that thing. You know what? This is no longer valid. The conversation has already passed. Long gone at this point. Thanks. The joke about, like the exploit, like, well, why didn't Trevor put this in the game? And instantly I'm just like both hands on head, like, this is alpha. This is testing. Underline, embolden, highlight, testing.
Yeah.
Testing.
We get it. Some of these things would be a lot easier if they weren't in the game. The training mobs is a fantastic example, right? Like, everything would have been better if that was just not in the game, but it was. And so the question is it an exploit? Is it not an exploit? Right? That's the question.
Yeah.
And, here was a good one.
Okay.
And here's one that I got caught on. It's like, holy crap, this meets the test. Unstuck to fast travel.
Is that a feature?
That's an exploit, man. All day.
Nope. No, it's not.
Is it against the spirit of the terms of service? There's no way that they intend for you to be able to use the unstuck button to move yourself out of a dangerous place into a safe space. No way. That absolutely violates it. Two.
In Ember Spring? Ember Spring is not a safe space.
It is if you're in the tropics. Which is exactly where I did it.
The tropics.
I was a level 13 in the tropics, and I unstuck to get the hell out of there.
That's interesting. Okay? I'm sorry, go ahead.
So then, number 2, did it give me a benefit? It absolutely gave me a benefit. I was out of the tropics as a level 13. Number 3, have I done it more than once? I have done this more than once. This is an exploit.
In a world where there are hearthstones, we use unstuck.
I think that one's a wobbler, Sonny.
It is.
That's a wobbler.
That's why you have Judge Sonny to decide these difficult cases.
I don't want Judge Sonny to decide anything.
It's tough. Well, you ended up in Judge Sonny's court, and bailiff is not going to let you go until Judge Sonny renders his ruling.
Where's Wapner?
It's an interesting.
Back.
And I don't mean to derail anything.
He gone.
I don't mean to derail anything by any means, but that's an interesting question. Maybe worthy of discussion in the future. Maybe even now. I don't know. Do we need some kind of recall stone or recall gem or something that brings you back to the Ember Spring?
Ember Spring.
Thank you.
No, we don't need one. We have the unstuck
home to.
What? Did I say? Aren't we in the trust tree with the nest?
Yeah, no one's here. No one's watching. We're fine.
Nobody's here.
Yeah, we're good.
It's you, me, Jibs, and 70 of our closest friends.
Oh, hi there.
It's a much bigger question, honestly, because it involves fast travel, right? Like, should you be able to fast travel? And if there's one thing that's consistent about this game, it takes a long time to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Like that. They are steadfast in making sure that that's a thing. So.
Have either of you purposely avoided going across the map, or just avoided it like the plague? Because no matter what, for the next 20 minutes, you're locked in on a pathway and hoping to God that you don't get involved in something. Just to 100%. Get to the point. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not alone.
100%. I have completely changed what I was going to do because it was a long ways away.
Yeah.
Just screw it. That's a long ways, man.
I have to be honest with you guys. I have not had many of those moments. And I think most of it is because most of my gameplay is group play. So when I log in, as soon as I log in, I look for groups immediately in Discord. And if I can find one, and trust me, it doesn't excuse the fact that if I'm in Nuela and they say where are you guys at? We're in Carfin. I'll see you in half an hour. It sucks, but I won't deviate from doing that. I won't be like, nah, I'm out. You guys are too far.
Wait till you get quests. Yeah.
Yeah, but my point is, this is one zone. We're all crammed together in the Riverlands. Can you imagine if they're like, oh, bro, we're in Sujoma. Cool. I'll see you guys in a week. That might be a little bit different.
Enjoy Sujoma.
Yeah.
I've heard it's lovely.
Yeah. Say hi to Tumok's in-laws up there. But I have not. I've found it sucking at certain points that I have to travel so far, but I haven't found that it's really deviated any of my gameplay. I still like it.
Yeah. No, it has mine with quests. If I unlock something and they're like, discover this place, and I look on the map, I'm like, nope, we're not going to be discovering that. That's going to stay undiscovered for now.
I love it.
I did find though, and I don't think this is exploitative at all, but there's a way, if you time it right, you can unstuck from New Ayla to Winstead to Carthen. It's super easy.
It's probably
guys.
fair.
It's like fast travel.
Yeah.
Super good.
You know,
Just kidding.
Just by your tone on the lead, and I'm like, yeah, here we go.
I didn't have a gavel, so I got this giant rubber mallet.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I was like, judgment.
Oh gosh. Well, folks, to those of you who are tuning in, let us know in the comments or on socials, heck, even our community. You know, what are your thoughts on the action summary that took place this past week? Gentlemen, roundtable discussion on no kill zones in Ashes of Creation. So I'm going to frame this up and we'll go from there. Chat, we're looking heavily at you. All right. We're going to pull in your responses as well. Here we go. Should there be locations in Ashes of Creation, Sunny, I'm going to you first, that are considered no kill zones where no PvP can take place?
Yes.
Care
With
to
an
elaborate?
asterisk.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, with an asterisk. I'm gonna call it the same sort of situation as like a town in Warcraft, where there's just incredibly elite guards that are around. Places like the markets, stuff like that. I want there to be, like, if you do decide to kill somebody in a town, that it is suicide. That is a guarantee. Like, you have to be treated like it is a suicide mission. So I would love to have the safe space thing, but I think that I would be willing to accept the no safe space if there was, one, a corruption system that actually worked, right? That if you did kill somebody, none of these loopholes, exploits, none of these other things that allow you to like somehow escape justice. Like, you need to be immediately corrupted for killing a person like that. And you need to die like instantly in a town from guards. So that would be what I would say. It needs to be so punishing to behave like that inside a town, in like the town market area, that no rational human being would do it. Like full corruption, you know, like all the stuff we talked about. You lose loot, you lose durability on gear, you lose XP in a massive quantity, and you can be hunted. Stuff like that.
Cash?
I think it's a moot point. Honestly, because you could just unstuck.
You are the worst. I want you to know that, all right?
We're kind of the best. At the same time, I'm kind of the best. Okay, so I need a disclaimer in my opinion, because I think it might be, I don't know, my opinion would probably be popular and unpopular at the same time. I did not enjoy watching my lower level crafters in the guild be killed when someone declared war on us. And you know who you are. You dirty slime bags. Over and over again, right? I did not enjoy that. But at the same time, this is a PvP game with a very specific design. And that game is designed to draw conflict. If you're playing on Vyra in Alpha 2 Phase 2, you are very aware of the conflict that has taken place. Okay? And that was all designed to be a part of the game. The game pushes it, right? What I do want to see, so what I'm saying is, no, I do not think there should be any no kill zones. And I have some caveats to this too, but I don't believe that cities should be no kill zones. What I do believe is that the guards should care. So I do agree with you there, Sonny. Now, I'm not saying that the guards should be on one end at one gate and then diverge on you in the middle of town. But if you happen to commit murder or attack another player in a town and the guard is patrolling and you're within that guard's aggro distance, then absolutely that guard should step in. Okay. But what I also want to be there is a player's ability to role play the game that they want to role play. If they want to be some seedy, mysterious stranger rogue roaming town looking for his opening, then that should be allowed to happen. I want it to be more realistic than anything. I do believe the guards, if they see you, should wreak havoc on you. I don't think it should be easy for you to kill the guards. Doable? Yes. Impossible? No. And if you lose, yep, you killed somebody in town, you get the highest penalty possible. Do I think it should be completely removed? No, I don't. I truly don't. And that goes for Ember Springs and freeholds. Does it suck to get smoked at an Ember Spring? It does. What I would rather see is, instead of there being a zone around an Ember Spring, I would rather there be a timer that will give you the opportunity, once you respawn, to get your bearings and get the hell out of Dodge if you can. I don't think it should be long, but I think it should at least give you a chance the second you respawn.
Doesn't that exist?
I don't know. I
believe
got
that
killed
does
at Ember,
exist.
I got killed at Ember Springs enough when EPH was pulling all their shenanigans in phase 1. And I don't remember there being...
There wasn't at that time. Okay. It is a recent ad, and so long as you don't attack, if you attack, then God save you. But if you don't attack, then I believe there is a 1 minute timer. Like Tomac is saying in chat, that is a new thing.
Okay, perfect then.
Yes. JB will pose the same question to you, but I'm going to add a couple things to it that people have suggested. One of them is Ember Springs. Two of them is freeholds. They're very concerned about freeholds. Should you be eating your farmhouse dinner with your family after a long day in the fields at the freehold and have someone kick in the door and murder you and everyone that's at the dinner table?
I feel like the scene out of Hateful Eight. Basically any scene out of Hateful Eight.
Yeah, the entire movie.
The entire movie.
Yeah, the inside of that freehold was not a safe spot.
That was not a safe space. Oh, it's on Netflix. Director's Cut. Go watch it. Okay. No. Freeholds. Yeah, I mean, yes. Freeholds absolutely should be a safe spot. It should be. Look, and this is coming from a PvPer. And I'm going to kind of take us through a few things here. Number one, going back to Cash's point about our crafters being attacked. These people farmed for hours and lost 75% of their stuff because of a war system. My first question on the war system, and again, I'm eventually going to answer this, but I'm kind of taking us through this here. My first thing on this war decking system is, why is it not required that the other person has to accept that war declaration? War should carry a lot of weight in this game. It should feel like an event, right? That both parties want. I'm talking.
I don't think Poland said yes.
Oh. So
too soon? My bad. Sonny hates me. I'm sorry.
Well, you haven't really done a show about Ashes of Creation without getting a good 1939 reference in there, you know?
You nailed the year. I love that. You nailed, yes, it was 1939. Sorry, Jibs. I'll STF you now.
Guilds should absolutely have to accept the war declaration. It should mean something. It should carry weight. It shouldn't be something that just gets spammed upon you. Because if you really want it to carry weight, have both guilds accept, fully knowing that they can get ready and go to war. And so on that note, yeah, that drives me nuts. My thing about this is, number one, right off the top, yes, freeholds should be a no combat area. Like, and really, there's a certain part of me that feels like a portion of the node should be. Maybe the crafters area, I don't know. But, like, I'll say the same thing that Rip says in Yellowstone when he's talking to Red. You know, you have a problem with someone, you want to fight someone, come fight me. I'll fight you all damn day. That's me. I'll go anytime, anywhere. I won't win all the time because people are geared out, but I'm a PvPer. I want to go. Here's my thing. If you're not careful with how this game is built and structured, it will not be a PvX game. It will be a PvP game. And it will no longer, and again, I know they want to make this game for a certain audience, right? However, you are going to lose so many people that are PvE oriented, that don't mind combat, you know, etc., but that are PvE oriented or crafters, if anything's fair game. And what's ultimately going to happen to this game, it'll become a niche game that'll just lose a player base because it's a straight up PvP game. People will go play something else. And you know what? I wouldn't blame them at that point. If there isn't some kind of safe space implemented, a place where people can immerse themselves into this game that aren't here for the fighting or for whatever it is, if it's a freehold, if it's like, I love the idea of guards getting involved, right? Skyrim. How many times have you guys went around Skyrim, you know, knowing that the pathing of the guard is he's way over there around the corner now, and you loot that person or you kill that person or you break in that building, right?
Nope. Lawful good, bro.
Yeah, all right, Sunny eye roll.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Dark Brotherhood, okay. So, like, I'm just, my thing with this is just be careful. Be careful with how you design this.
You want a cost. You want a cost to these things, right? Like, okay, so what you said was you want both guilds to be able to say, like, okay, we want to go to war. That's probably unrealistic, okay? It doesn't really even fit from like a lore standpoint. But
how? We don't have any lore.
Well, I mean, just
we have 5%,
logic, I guess, right?
We have a lot of pre-order pack lore, but I mean, you know, like, and we've done that, and that's been a lot of fun.
Pre-order pack lore. Here's what I will say is that there are ways to build this into the game from a lore perspective that makes sense, right? You want it harder to kill people at the market? Put more guards around the market, right? Cash says he wants to have that experience of when the guards aren't looking. Well, guess where the guards are going to be? They're going to be around the people with all the money, and that's in the market. If they're, you know where they're not going to be? In the shady alleys in between the buildings, right?
Right.
Well, crafters don't go there. That is
exactly. This is what I'm
spot.
saying, right? Like, those are dangerous spots. You want an area to be more protected. Okay, give the guards a lot more power, make them care, and then put them in the places that you want protected. The Ember Spring, put guards around the Ember Spring. Okay? It's just that simple. If you kill somebody that just spawned and hasn't attacked anybody, then the guards go after those guys and make them hit like tanks. Okay? This is just a very simple like way of doing this. There are lots of ways to solve this problem, but this is definitely one way to do it. The other thing with the wars. Okay, so let's look at this from a logical perspective, right? What happens when a really big country declares war on a really tiny country? Everybody gets pissed. Okay, there's a cost to this. There is a diplomatic cost to doing this kind of stuff. Now, if it's not enough in the game, then they have to build mechanics around it. So maybe the cost of declaring war on a small guild or a guild that is like underpowered statistically compared to your guild, I don't know how you'd work that out, but maybe it costs more. The biggest problem is, like the chat said, that it just doesn't cost anything right now. It costs you like, I don't know, 5 gold or 20 gold or whatever, right? You do a fishing declaration and all of a sudden nobody can fish and everyone dies. Well, that's not going to last forever. But if the cost of war was high and the cost of unfair wars was even higher, like it should be, then you'd be less incentivized to do these multiple wars stacking on top of each other.
Well, what kind of costs are you talking about? Are you talking about a monetary cost? Or are you talking about the entire server hating you?
Well, the entire server hating you is not something that Intrepid can necessarily build into the game, but they can build things into the game like a monetary cost or a timer that says that if you declare war against this place, you're not going to be able to declare war against anybody else for like 3 days or 5 days or whatever. You know, those are things that they can build into the game. If you declare war against a guild that doesn't have a player above 15 and your guild has 70 people above 25, then yeah, that should cost you, right? That is an unfair war declaration.
Okay, I'll buy that. I will buy that. But at the same time, I'm going to stick to my point here with not regulating too much and creating no kill zones in the same vein, the same thought process of how I feel about war decking. I don't like multiple war decking. Being able to war deck, the war ends, you war deck again. I don't think there should be some type of a cooldown timer on that for sure, because that's not fair, especially if you win, right? But what I don't want to see is too much regulation to make this game something that is for the masses. I truly don't believe that Intrepid is building this game for the masses.
No.
We have played games for the masses for 10 or 15 years, and I'm over it. I don't want to play those games anymore. I want to play a game with risk versus reward, which is exactly what this game is pushing. This game is pushing the fact that conflict is in the game. They don't intend to take it out. And if you are conflicted for whatever reason, war deck, having your crafters killed in town, the onus is on you to make it right. That's what I want. That is global conflict created across a server. Look at the content that's been created by guilds acting like a-holes. Right? We talk a lot about it. There's been videos created on it. There's been all kinds of a stir that's been created over the past 2-3 months because of situations like this happening. Because these systems are in the game and people have the ability to choose the light side or the dark side. That is what I want. And I see that coming from a guy who is typically PvE focused and have been on the receiving end of it more than I've been on the winning end of it. That is the risk that I want to take when I play this game. I don't want there to be too many safeguards in place because it brings realism to my game. It makes me be pissed at other players and put somebody on a kill on sight list and want to work my guild into a spot to where now we can show up on their doorstep when they least expect it and go, hey, MFer, remember us? Boom. And then we can exact revenge. That is what I want for this game.
Let me ask you a question to just clarify so that I understand exactly what you're saying here. Are you saying that you think that it is an acceptable practice in this game for a large guild to declare war on a tiny guild and kill them, win the war, and then immediately declare war on them again and do it again ad infinitum?
No, I just said that about.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on this. You are saying no. You are saying no. You do not want that.
There should be a cooldown timer on something like that. And because we got war decked multiple times when we were low level, and some of these other, a-hole guilds were higher level than we were because it exploited. You did. I'm just kidding. Totally just kidding. Because they were just higher level than we were. And we were grinding our butts off trying to do it the right way. We just weren't there yet. And they war decked on us multiple times and it sucked. So no, if there's a conflict, somebody war decks on you once and you get licked, you get licked. But it shouldn't, there should be a timer on it for them to be able to war deck on you again, or it should cost them a metric crap ton of gold to do it again.
So you want that, you're kind of in favor of the same sort of system, JB, that creates the corruption system. It's that you can kill anybody. You can kill him on the road. You can kill a dude that's not doing anything, but there's gonna be a penalty to it, right? Like if you declare war on a small guild, Cash is saying there shouldn't be any penalty for that. I disagree. I think that there should be. But there's consequences. And that's what Cash is saying. The consequence in his case is a timer, so he can't do it again. In my case, it's worse than that. Where do you fall on that, JB?
I think it needs to be worse than that. Like at least some kind of corruption system involvement. I'm fine with anyone being able to be killed. Like I'm fine with that, right? However, I just raise the concern. Again, coming from a PvPer standpoint, that. And I know, to go off Cash's point, and Steven said it, and that's why we're here. This game is not made for everybody. That's why we're here, because it's the old school style, right? However, this is also not 1999. This is 2025. Some things have changed. My concern is if there are no safe spaces at all in this game outside of Ember Shrines, you know, if you die and you're not attacking anybody, you have that timer. Stuff like that. My concern is that this game is going to not reach as large of an audience as it could. And I'm not for, let me be clear, I'm not for making Vera safe again. All right? I'm not for that.
It was never safe in the first place.
Have you been to Vira?
Exactly. Did you feel safe?
About the first 5 minutes of phase 1.
Day 1.
Yeah.
Day 1.
So let me be clear. Very clear, okay? I'm not saying make all of Vera safe, but my concern is maybe there should be some portions. This is from Get Off in chat. Says, if the PvP aspect is not handled correctly, then there will be no PvX game because the only folks left will be PvP folks. My point exactly. And you will have such a micro audience. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Did better than I could.
There's a lot of interesting things here. One of the suggestions was that the like a small guild should be able to select a champion to fight the larger guild's champion if it's imbalanced like that.
That'd be awesome.
That is
making an event.
That's a pretty creative and cool suggestion. I dig that a lot, actually. Like if it's and I don't think that they actually said like it was imbalanced. They were just talking about the champion thing. But that's a great answer to the imbalance thing. Like if it's so imbalanced, then the smaller guild gets the option to do a champion. That would be a disincentive to attack a small guild. If you thought, God, you know, like we could wipe these guys, but there's a real chance that they have a stud in there. And this is going to be a problem for us.
That'd be awesome.
You know, make you really think twice about this thing.
Tomac, I choose you. You are my champion.
That's a great idea, right? Like, oh, God, man, I hope Intrepid listens to that one because that's a fun one from a lore standpoint, too. You talk about like the content that could be created for that.
Oh, gosh, yeah. That'd be fun for story.
Trey says, we've seen this movie before. You're not wrong.
Yeah, it was like a story. It was famous or something. I can't remember. It was like a book. I don't know. Maybe a poem. I don't know.
Yeah. Gid says, I want assassination contracts to rub out mayors and trigger instant elections.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
That would be something, wouldn't it?
That would. Could you just imagine that, Sonny? Like you're out there on day 2 after your inauguration and you're out there just picking flowers. And all of a sudden, boom, jabbed in the neck. You're spurting and spraying 4 feet in every direction. And just poof, down you go.
Slow down, citizen. You're approaching awfully quickly. Let me get my pen out for an autograph.
Here's another one. Here's another great idea, you guys. Hartzell says, could mayors have the option to spend gold for more guards and safer towns?
There you go.
I thought of that
there you go.
like 30 minutes ago and it didn't come out. And that is a great example, right? Like that is a great example for this. You want a safer town? You want a town where people are not getting shanked in the middle of like buying copper? Put more guards in there.
There you go.
Spend some of your town's money. They're generating taxes. I know this. They're generating so much tax money that they don't know what to do with it at this point. They can't build buildings fast enough. Spend it on guards. That's a great, great answer.
Steven, it's the Lord. Steven, It is the Lord. Are you picking up and taking notes on these ideas? Because there's some real bangers in chat right now. That is all, Stephen. Carry on.
Here's another like extension off that. You could just go so many ways. You could get them better weapons. You could make the guards that you have stronger, right?
Oh my God, you could freaking totally gear your guards
You
out.
could gear your guards out.
Heck yeah.
Oh,
right?
More presence.
holy crap.
Buff for guards.
Like if you don't gear your guards out, guess who's moving into town?
Yep.
Thugs, right? Like that's where the rogues are gonna live. Like, it's a great idea, right?
Sonny, close your ears. This is a complete Ashes of Creation boner moment. They
he's already
totally do this. Did he hear that? He heard that.
Yeah, he
probably.
heard that. Yeah, probably.
He said boner.
You said it twice.
Wow, you
That's
doubled
good.
down.
We're good.
Yeah,
we're good now. Okay, so I think that we are a little different in our opinions on this thing, and that's fine. But I think we all agree that there has to be some adjustments to it. That there has to be some toning down of it. And I think that one of the big takeaways that's sort of an unspoken statement out of the three of us and the chat is that you got to do something about some of this PvP, because if you don't, there's not going to be a PvX game left.
No, there will not be.
That is the fear.
That's the reality.
If this game becomes so salty with murder that you're not going to get people that want to fulfill that other aspect of it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kat.
Go ahead, Jibs. I'll let you go, but I do got a point.
No, go ahead.
Have they not added so much of a consequence to going red in this game that it has stopped people from just willy-nilly killing?
No.
A war deck is one thing, but you have plenty of people, the same people that were serial mob trainers, if they had the ability to, with way less of an effect on them, with way less of a consequence, they would have just as easily been killing you.
True.
I know that I'm right. And I know that I'm right just in one final point, because I experienced it. I had that moment where Jibs and I were just testing a little PvP, and I might have sniped him and he was a little too low and murdered him. I went red and we literally went to the hills to hide. And when people saw us, they were all over me. Mm-hmm. Less stats, less ability to fight back, and dropping a lot of my stuff. And it happened. It is a huge detriment to going red in this game. And it is in place, right? In the war system, it's different. It's not.
In the circumstances in which it's working. So there are a number of circumstances in which it's not currently working, right? You have a lot of this, what they call like corruption baiting. And this was a topic in the Pirates interview, for example. He was talking about corruption baiting, where they were able to like flip the flag off, and all of a sudden they hit him once, and then that person is corrupt. That kind of stuff needs to be fixed. But there is also the bounty hunting system. The bounty hunting system is something that we have looked forward to that we haven't seen yet. The defending the caravan system, that is another thing that we have looked forward to that we haven't seen yet. There are more systems that need to get into place to make attacking people more punishing. The bounty hunter system is a damn good system in theory, right? That is something that really makes you think hard about doing something like that. And if they really dial in that corruption so that people are not able to avoid it through trickery and exploits, then I think that we're on the same page. Then I think that at that point, those systems are working correctly, and now you're getting a fair scene of what's going on.
Dude, if that bounty hunting system becomes anything like Star Wars Galaxy's bounty hunting system, where for whatever reason you trigger that system, in this case it would probably be killing somebody. In Star Wars Galaxies, it was, heck, if you're a freaking Jedi Padawan and you pull out your lightsaber in town, you go on the bounty boards immediately. Like you just, and there's a bounty, a number of credits that you were worth. That, if that becomes part of this game, it's going to be a game changer. There will be people just spamming that damn board. And as soon as that person, commits a crime, they pop up on that board. That is going to be an amazing system if that's how it works.
I hope so.
Well, folks, you let us know what you think in the comments below, or maybe in our... I always forget to say this. Hey, by the way, there's people who don't realize this. You can watch these episodes on Spotify. The video format is there as well, and you can also comment there too. Folks, let us know what your take is. What do you think on safe, or what do you say? No kill zones in Ashes of Creation. What's your thoughts on this whole discussion? Let us know. We certainly would appreciate it. This was episode 73. The LoreForged podcast. Let us know how we're doing. Please take a moment if you enjoyed this show. It just helps us out. Let us know by leaving us a review on your podcast app of choice. It helps other gamers figure out if this show is for them or not. And of course, you can always leave us a comment in the YouTube channel as well. Let us know what you think. Sonny?
You can go to LoreForged.com and find the link tree to all of our content, including YouTube, where we upload this show on Mondays. That includes a bunch of other content that we have on there as well. And Twitch, I'm stream today. I'll probably stream tomorrow. See if we can get some of that in there. I'm going to have to take a week off, but we also do the show live on Twitch. So if you're listening to the show or watching it on YouTube, you can actually participate in the show on Twitch. And that is at twitch.tv/LoreForgedHQ. Sorry, I had to get that one right. We like to throw an HQ on the end of everything. When we were building this show, it was like, oh boy, we're going to need to come up with a few more letters to make sure that we actually exist. Finally, Patreon. We are going to be coming out with a very big deal at some point once I'm able to really complete the editing process and talk with Cash about it. But Cash has got his new book coming out as the Tier 2 level of Patreon for the barbacks, in addition to the C3 capital crafting calculator and a bunch of other stuff. And then of course we have our first tier, and the important thing is that everyone's able to participate in the happy hour, which is a special Patreon only chat. Cash, how's the book coming?
No, I don't know. I'll ask you the same question. I think it's done. I'm just waiting for you to tear apart and tell me there's too many comments in it.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that.
Well, you're not the first person to edit it, so it's fine. It's been a painstaking couple of months with the book pretty much being done, but me being completely worried about whether or not it's good enough to go out to the masses. So
it's
anyway, final stages. Once we get done with this final gloss over, it'll be a done deal and it'll be out for you guys. So anyway, we should probably say what the book is. It is The Adventurer's Guide to Health and Fitness, if you're into that kind of thing. And if you're not, you should care about your health. Anyway, friends, you can follow us on X at LoreForgedHQ. You can follow us on Instagram at LoreForgedHQ. And we are still actively taking members into our casual PvX guild for adults and working professionals. Feel free to join us. Just got to go to our Discord and you will find a link to apply to our guild. We would like to welcome some new members this week. Welcome to Otto, Mr. Hobbs Magundy, Lord 100, Lullaby, Empty Fridge, and Cottrell, which I believe we just put a non-aggression pact together with.
Right. One of my favorite dwarves with an all-dwarf guild. You gotta love an all-dwarf guild, right?
Love it. Yep.
Yes.
That's absolutely awesome. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great week in gaming, and we will see you right here next week on LoreForged. Take care, everybody.
Peace, love, and honeybees.
Safe travels, adventurers.
Safe travels, adventurers.